Hello guys, welcome to the Trading Parrot. Today we're going to talk about 4 altcoins, SPX6900, Toncoin, Near, and Uniswap. We're going to start with S&P, which I read in their Reddit that they want to flip the S&P 500. Not sure if they mean that for real or if it's just a joke, but so far we've seen a pretty decent rally. We'll cover the 4 coins in depth, including liquidation levels, where is the risk, support and resistance. We'll do a combination of different techniques as usual with the RSI on the weekly. I'll have to drop some time frames to the daily. We'll look into longs versus shorts, potential continuation for the rallies, and where is the opportunity ultimately. Guys, if you like this type of content, make sure that you are subscribed to the channel. Hit the notification bell to get notified every time I put out one of these videos. And if you would like to be part of a smaller group doing TA together live, I got the weekly private TA live stream that we run every Thursday, now around at 3 p.m. UK time. You can vote directly for the coins that you want me to do TA, ask questions during the live stream, before the live stream, and since it's a small group, you get the chance to secure your answers as well and be part of a smaller, cozy, and pretty cool community as well. If you want to join, have a look at the link of my Patreon and join the elite tier, and I'll see you there. By the way, that's today. Alright, so let's go with SPX6900, which the first time I heard the name of the coin, is this a scam? Every time I look into my comments in YouTube, I get this name of coins everywhere, all over the place, and I have to deal with all the spam. And this one, I'm not sure if it's a spam or something. It is a meme coin inspired by trading culture and internet humor, parodying the S&P 500 index exaggerated price targets of 6,900. It runs on Ethereum network and embraces virality and speculation, tokenomics, focus on community engagement, liquidity burns, and meme momentum. Let's remember that Ethereum is doing pretty well, still hitting that resistance at 2.7 that we were talking about since the very lows, the revenge rally. It hasn't reclaimed it, but with all this momentum and that big weekly candle that we just experienced on Ethereum, is definitely giving a hand to meme coins that use Ethereum as a home. You can see that from 11th of March, it built a double bottom, a bullish divergence on the daily, and it has started this crazy rally. We're getting very close to the all-time high of daily RSI, which is 80, now sitting at 76.6. Very, very close, although the price hasn't got that high. I even drew this line in here to show that this move is definitely parabolic. Each and every low, it's incrementing the momentum, and that is visible in the RSI, where we still don't have at this 76 a bearish divergence. That will depend on the closing price of today. For example, if the price retraces from 118 back into not necessarily below $1, but maybe 105, that possibly is gonna get the trick of putting this 76 back down at 74. If we close like that and price starts retracing back into the purple support from the parabolic move, that will put a decent bearish divergence in here. The previous one was at 69 in here on the 22nd of May, but it only managed to put the price sideways without losing the 83 support. That was previous resistance around the 10th of May. So far the structure of the price is absolutely intact, and if the trend remains like this without taking any bullets, the worst case scenario is literally going into $1 and holding the support from the parabolic line. If we break the parabolic move below $1, I think that's where we start thinking that something is not the same as before. And one reason to think that at the 1.2 to the 128 we could be see a local top or the actual top of this whole move is because at that point we start going beyond the golden pocket. After the sell-off of 85-86% down, we have already managed to move 372, and we are right there against the end of the golden pocket. The golden pocket ends at 1.2 and is one of the preferred areas for the price to do something. I'm not saying that we cannot go beyond the all-time high, but at that point we usually, after such a magnificent move, we get a more decent pullback, and that proves the point if we manage to go beyond that later. Price can even reach 129, and if it comes back below 1.2, ideally $1 below that, then we get the perfect setup for a big slowdown in the parabolic move. After all, RSI is about to reach the top percentile at 80, and the accumulations of longs are again against the top percentile of 85 now. The maximum we ever been is 87. Listing time, I always ignore it, is 100, so that makes no sense. It's just a statistical bug there. But if we focus on 87, we got 2 points to go higher. After that, we really need to challenge all the statistics that SPX hasn't done so far. Is it doable? Yes, but the most likely scenario is always to respect the statistics, although never guaranteed. So what the hell is driving all of this madness? My speculation was to do with the Ethereum rally and getting some memes on Ethereum pumping. But let's look at this news in here. It says it breaks above $1 with strong momentum. So that is very clear. This move is supported by a bullish MACD indicator and a 95% price increase since in May. That is bullish. We got another bullish news about this and a neutral one. The bullish says that the Elliott wave analysis predicts further rally. Technical analysis using Elliott waves theory suggests that SPX is in a wave 5 rally, targeting 50% to 61.8 Fibonacci retracement zones, indicating potential for continued upward movement. I'm not sure how they are placing this particular wave, but what I get is that we are already hitting the golden pocket and we are about to pierce out of that, challenging that move. So maybe what they're doing is an extension from the previous wave. So let's say this is the previous wave, we go up, down, pull back into the parabolic line, and the 1618 is around 135, which could be the point that they are expecting this last wave to last a little bit longer relative to the previous retracement. So the retracement calls for 1.2, the resistance of the order block 128, and the Fibonacci extension of this supposedly fifth wave should be going for 135. So somewhere in this area, all of there should be some big reaction of resistance. And the neutral news says that potential resistance at 114, which is already broken, by the way. They're already expecting a pullback a little bit before that. SPX on the 1 month shows some big liquidations at 0.8, and let's see where is that. So that will be right before starting with this breakout from this bull flag at 80 cents right there. If we were to come back from where we are into 80 cents, that's a 33% down. We also have some decent liquidations at 61 cents around that area. And if I place this on the 3 months, let's see if we get lucky and it actually works. So now it's up to date and it shows that 80 cents liquidity, which is the biggest, close to the price. The 60 relative to that is smaller, but really where there is the whole juice is on all these degens that enter from 0.3 into 0.46. So definitely, if you were thinking to short this beast, be careful, because we're still in the context of a parabolic move. So anything with a leverage over 3x will be already pretty dangerous. But building a position with 1x targeting lower liquidity for later on, after all this is a meme coin, could be the way to go if you're willing to hold a red bag if this thing goes into madness territory. Just be very careful with shorting meme coins. Just look at Doge, what happened in the past, or Shift, and use it as a case of study. Let's go with the next coin is Toncoin. So if you're not familiar with this coin, it is a native token of the Open Network. Originally developed by Telegram, it is a level 1 blockchain focused on fast transactions, minimal fees, and integration into Telegram's 900 million user base. It supports DeFi, NFTs, decentralized storage. Toncoin is used for gas fees, staking, and governance. And let's increase this to the weekly time frame. Let's have a look at the price action. So we have had so far at 71% drawdown in here. We need to update this extension to see the bullish targets. And if we did an extension of 1, which basically means the same magnitude of the previous rally, we can get into 8.8 and a golden pocket is 12.9. So around $13 is the most bullish target for Toncoin. We had in here a dead cat bounce after a technical target achieved of that double bottom. And in here, I'm looking to see if we can actually build a double bottom. I think in my previous video, I did something like this and we are still not there we need to get into that neckline of around $3.9. If we do that, we are targeting back above the $5 that was the neckline of the double top that broke down. So far, we have done a great progress getting into $3.7, but we really need to close beyond $4 to have the actual breakout. In terms of the RSI on the weekly, there was something really grotesque that you can see in here. There was a hidden bullish divergence, a breakout, and at that point, Telegram's CEO got in trouble. There was all this FUD around everything to do with Telegram, and the momentum, of course, completely dragged back down to do a retest. But probably, if this is considered a retest, is probably the worst in history, because the price was at that point at $7, and the retest occurs at $2.5. So if that can be called a healthy retest, that will be madness. But we have had now a new breakout that happened on the 10th of March, and since then the momentum has moving in a healthy way to the upside. We can see that is respecting this slope. Longs are getting very bullish on this, and they are getting very close to the levels of longs that we had prior June 2024 after a complete flash of longs. Are we getting overheated in terms of longs? I will say so. I mean, we have never been beyond 79, and now we are at 77.46. I'm gonna ignore this level again. That's 100. That's the listing time. Socials are spiking at 0.9% of all the social dominance. It's been at 3%. So from socials point of view, although we are getting overheated, there is still room to go, at least at 3x in attention. I will say as long as we are defending this slope on the trend line, we can still achieve that breakout over $4 and aim for $5 as an initial conservative target. Getting into over $5, it is a big deal, because all the travel in ton occur in this area above $5. So coming back there, it means, okay, we wash our hands and the problem is kind of solved, and then we can aim for higher targets of $9 and $13. We got two bullish news for ton and one bearish. The bullish ones are the former Visa executive joined Ton Foundation. This is a strategic hire aiming to bolster Ton's payment infrastructure, signaling strong institutional interest. Significant price surge and volume increase. This is just the technicals that they are noting. The volume increasing 530% is definitely something great. And a bearish news are that there are rumors about a potential partnership between Ton and Elon Musk's venture were circulating but have been confirmed as fake news. While the speculation temporarily boosts interest, the debunking may lead to short-term volatility, and we're definitely gonna have to look into liquidation levels in here. If you want to trade $500 with any of these coins in this list for free and then get to keep the profits, you can use my link for Bybit in the description. Open it, click register to claim, and you're ready to go. You can also use my campaign on Bluffin, which is a non-KYC exchange, meaning that you can just open a new account with the link in the description, and in 30 seconds you deposit and you are ready to trade with leverage. Altcoins take advantage of winning up to $10,000 depending on your deposit and trading volume, and use your new Bluffin account to get for free both my Telegram charts and my Pine scripts. To get that, just use this QR code with your new and shiny Bluffin account, assuming that you meet the requirements, of course. In terms of liquidation levels for Ton, we have some big levels right below the $3 mark that it's ending around $2.6. So that we could say that is the current risk at the moment. If we were to go to that $2.6, my question is, can we still get away with forming a bullish pattern and going into $4? Well, so far we haven't managed to close beyond 3.3, 3.4. So if that is resistance and we go for the 2.6, we get to kick out of the way all those excessive longs that we are currently seeing in here. That is something actually positive. I will prefer to cross that 4 and secure a move into 5 without having the longs versus shorts at these levels. If you want to monitor the current status of this, definitely you want to get access to my Pine scripts, and those are the ones that I was showing earlier. That includes the RSI VIP, the Delta longs, the lunar crash, and many more indicators that I use very frequently in my videos. The third out of 4 coins that I'm gonna review today is NEAR. And NEAR is definitely giving something to talk about these days. There's a lot of social activity and a decent performance over the past 24 hours. So let's have a look and let's see where we are. It's been a while I don't review review it. And the last time I did a review, I can see I left some drawings that we could go into this resistance at 57. That took a lot longer. After the breakout, we have a little bit of bleeding in here. We went straight to punish the excessive longs, and from that area of value, which is more or less located at the lows of $19, great entry, we started curving up and going into that resistance. But since it took so long, instead of going into 57, we went into 45, and the resistance is still now at 49. So let's place that in the chart. Let's see if we manage to meet with that resistance where that is. And it makes a lot of sense because there's a confluence with the $3.3 that we just got rejected. So that means that we could be seeing another attempt at 3.3. For that, we need to defend, obviously, the new support of $2.6. That was previous resistance in February 2023. This rally from 3.1 into 8.3, if we do a Fibonacci extension to the lows, we can see that the extension of 1 could get us into $7.2 and the golden pocket just beyond $10 mark. Something to be slightly more worried about near is that we are having lower highs and lower lows, so we really need to get out of this trap. I'm tempted to place here a line with these descending tops that are definitely being a challenge for the price of near. As I say earlier, there's definitely a spike in interest at the moment in near. It's spiking to 0.6 social dominance. The recent highs were 1.1, so that is pretty substantial. Let's see what is attracting people to talk about near. We have increased network activity, rising staking inflows, and we have short-term price prediction indicates potential decline. That is the bearish one. We have 2 bullish news and 1 bearish. Let's look at liquidation levels on near, and there is a significant level of liquidation just below $2.6. If we go into the price action, let's see where that is and what could cause to the price. If we go to 2.6, we are still at the support of 2.6, which is that level that I really like, being resistance and support before. So if we go to there, we are still defending this, and we can have later another attempt to break beyond the $3.3. Last but not least, Uniswap. Let's have a very quick look at what's going on at the moment on the weekly time frame. I'm gonna have to update here because there has been definitely a weekly breakout around the 7th of April, and we have formed an inverse head and shoulders, which is really bullish. This recent bullish price action is bringing some attention from retail, spiking to 0.46 social dominance, which is great. Things that are a bit worrying in the shorter term is this spike in longs, which is getting very close to the highs of 80. Now we are at 71, not as overheated as the rest of the coins I'm reviewing, but you know, and I always repeat myself, that I do not like to enter on the breakout. I like to smell the opportunity during the consolidation, particularly when you see areas like this that I call literally areas of massive value, because there's no longs, so you enter in an area where there's not overcrowded. At the same time, at that point, you get very little socials pinching the lower bottom end, so you get 2 opportunities in there. So when you get those 2 opportunities, you look at the price and you start using your creativity, literally. How can we get a bottom information if we already have this and we have this lower low? Well, we need to form maybe a bullish divergence, maybe we can form a cap and handle, or we can form an inverse head and shoulders, double bottom. You pick the name, whatever it is, it needs to be bullish if it continues higher after being in an area of value. The area of value is accumulation. What we are doing now by looking at the charts is saying, well, assuming we took advantage of that and we are in a position and we see this breakout, do we hold? Do we scale up? Do we close? That is kind of the analysis. The analysis is not to tell you, hey, everybody, all retail is buying, now buy and get wrecked, because that is what the bigger channels do with you. They make you watch, they put the video to 1 million viewers, and they empty their bags on you. If you prefer this approach, make sure that you subscribe the channel, hit the like, and write down a comment down below. That really does help the channel, and it helps other people to free themselves from the trap that the other channels are putting on you on a daily basis. If we can break beyond around that $7 mark. Let's look at the realistic targets. Let's start first with a technical target. So if we do the technical target of the high of this inverse head and shoulders, we can reconquer $9.5. That has been support, resistance multiple times. It's not really perfect, I will say, but there is a confluence in here. My area of risk is that the price goes all the way up in here, even into $8, and it sets a trap on all this crowd, increasing this into a top area and then having a pullback. That pullback, I would like to see how it is, to consider a scale up of a position, or to consider to keep riding the wave up. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, do not forget to hit the like below, and hoping to see you later today in the Elite private live stream at 3 p.m. UK time. Bye bye, take care.